Okay, in this video what I'd like to do is now look at the results of a couple of different efforts at image rectification. And what I want you to remember is that in fact, and I've created a new data frame here, so I want to kind of look at our information. You always have to ask what you're trying to do, in a sense, with the image that you are georeferencing. In this case, what I'm interested in is really understanding land cover change qualitatively within these control points. In other words, I want to look at the area within the borough of Slippery Rock and on Slippery Rock's campus. And it's important to understand that rectification, generally speaking, occurs inside the ground control points. Outside of the control points, especially when you use higher order transformations, things are going to be quite bad. You have little control, in other words, in anywhere outside of the control points. So if you want to think about it, these are the areas that we're interested in. And again, I'm going to zoom in so you can see our reference image. I really want to understand what has happened within the campus. And to a degree, I probably should extend a little bit my ground control points, because this area here is also quite important to what I'm looking at. This happens to be an area of ecological importance. And so we're going to see that that becomes something of a problem. Now, what I did is we have two different types of transformations. We have a standard affine transformation, and then we also have that second order polynomial transformation that we did in the previous video. And what I want to do now is I would like to look at the area, what happens to the images when we do this. Now, first of all, again, we did a second order polynomial transformation and using 6 control points, and what we end up with is an image like this. And you'll notice that the image is quite warped in this direction. Notice this kind of arcuate shape here, and straight here. What that does, though, is that within our control points, okay, our information is, in fact, I'm going to change the order of drawing here, bring our imagery underneath this. Within the campus, again, within the control points, things are quite good. And one of the ways that I'm going to evaluate that is, in fact, by these straight roads here and this curved road here. These are the things that I'm interested in. How well did it deal with these features? And one way that I can do that is to take a section, and so here's a road, and then I'm going to toggle back and forth between my image and what I rectified. And you'll notice that, in fact, the road is quite good. It lines up quite well. You could, in fact, trace those and evaluate the quality even further. But as I look at this, what I see is internal to my control points, things are really quite good. Now I'm going to take it one step further, and I'm going to evaluate this building. And what we're going to see there is a little bit of warpage. So if I zoom in on that, here is the 4 sides of North Hall. And when I compare that, you'll notice that, in fact, that shifting of the building, at least in its other corner, is somewhat more pronounced. And in fact, what I would have to do is, again, if we take and look at the corner here, we can actually even go a little bit farther. We notice that here and here are the corners of the buildings. And if I turn that on and off, you're going to see that they're close, but there's a little bit of shift. Okay. And again, one of the issues, of course, here is that we can see we're off nadir, but there are a couple of issues that we want to look at there. So now we have 2 different images rectified, and I want to compare the 2 of them. So now we've got our second order, looks like that, and then we have our standard affine transformation. And in some respects, we may see that our standard, and again, we're going to zoom to this one, this happens to be our affine, and you'll notice that in this case, both of the sides remain straight, but what we have is some error in terms of our RMS. And so in each case, we have less than perfect georeferencing, but that in part is because we have not, in fact, ortho-rectified this image, but we have georeferenced it. And we have to accept that there's a level of error across this image as a result of that rectification. Okay, so basic steps in rectification have been dealt with in each of the videos. Make sure that when you are doing this, that you understand fully the level of transformation that you've produced and the error or residuals that are present. All right, that's it for georeferencing. We'll see you next time.